need to find this place or we'll be late.
Make a left on Astrology Avenue. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant right. It should be right here. 444 Spearway. Oh, turn.
It looks like Renee. Yay, we're on time.
The James and Kellee Show.
Great, let's start the show.
Hi, oh, you're reading the Montecito Times?
I'm just reading this. Look at the name of this. Soul.
Okay. Pacific
Work.
Graduate. Okay. So of the
It's
Soul Week. Okay.
The Soul Work Week.
Okay. Just for the
What the
record,
heck?
James. Okay, wait. Let me just say this for the record. For the record, I did not get accepted into that school. So change the page. I should have, but I didn't.
I just turned the page.
Yeah, Pacifica. I didn't get into that school. I was so bummed. So for all of you out there that didn't get into the school you want, it's okay. There was a better one for me. I can't believe that's the page you showed.
I turned soul circles. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I thought I'd get in there, no, I thought I would get there because it was a soul, like a spiritual place. Nah.
Never heard of it, Kelly. Never.
Oh yeah, I got a big story behind that. Anyway, that's okay. But are you having a good time there?
I'm having a great time on my vacation, and Pearl loves the beach. I've been doing beach walks with her and preserve trail. We did like 5 miles yesterday, and she's having a great time. And we just came from the beach. There you go.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, Pearl, she's so sweet. Look
She's
at that
so sweet.
picture. She's in the water for the first time?
She's in the water for the first time.
Oh, how exciting. Oh, it's
She's
beautiful.
not sure what it is. And yeah, it's just.
Oh,
anyway,
sweet.
So,
it could be a little surfer dog.
A little surfer. Look at this.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's gorgeous.
That's my, we're going to hang out now from that place. And it's a real look at this, my little perch, my brand new perch. I'm going to go there all the time.
I love it. It's beautiful. Oh,
Thank you.
Gosh.
So I'm on vacation up in Santa Barbara area and just hanging out. And and I'm with Ann Vanderwater, who was on our show before.
Yes, I love Ann.
Ann's great. So we sing her tonight, and we're going to hang out and do some sound healing. And so there we are.
So it sounds like a really wonderful area.
It's really great. I'm looking at a place. I'm actually today from the Summerland, which is a place up here in the Santa Barbara area, which is started from a spiritualist medium back in the 1800s, and he had his wife was very much a spiritualist, and this wasn't at all. There were no houses here. It was really undiscovered yet, and she was a spiritualist, and they went to a medium, and she said, "The medium tells you something. Would you believe?" And he goes, "Yeah." So the medium had him write something down on a piece of paper and put it in an envelope. And then, she held the envelope, but he was done. She was in another room. And she said, "Oh, it says your brother is a drunkard." And he wrote that. His brother is a drunkard. Opened the envelope, there it was. And from that on, he believed in spiritualism and mediumship. And he opened up the first camp here in a place called Summerland. Summerland is like heaven, right? And opened up the first, then after that, in 1930s, the first spiritualist church was opened up here. And then they built the 101 freeway, and that was into that spiritualist church. And since I've been up here a couple of days, I've realized that that's a new industry. It's the 101 freeway because they're always fixing it. They're always constructing it.
So it's so true.
10 years it's been going on. I'm like, there's something in this here. So, and I'm having a good time. It's great. And a good rest. And Pearl had a little accident the other day.
Yeah, tell us about what Pearl. This is a funny story. Tell us what happened.
So I just drove. I'm just letting Spirit guide me. I'm just going out there and going wherever. I pulled into this shopping center. It was Montecito, which is a really wealthy area. And first thing before I knew it was Montecito, I said, "Oh, it feels very tight here." And I got out with Pearl, and Pearl had been with her boyfriend all weekend. Name's Winston, up in Studio City, and they played all weekend for 12 hours. And she ate his food, which she shouldn't do because it affects puppies. So we're walking around this little plaza there with those people just eating and whatever, walk around. And all of a sudden she sits down and has diarrhea right in the patio. All righty then. So there I go into Lucky's and get a paper towels and cleaning supplies.
That's funny. Good for you for cleaning up after her.
Poop.
Yep.
Exactly. And people come by and say, "Oh, your dog is so lovely. Oh, it's so nice to clean up your coffee." And I said, "It's not coffee. My dog had an accident here." Like,
that's hysterical. That's hysterical. Oh my God.
Like, this isn't the place for me.
Right. Exactly.
Move on.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
how have
Wow.
you been, Kelly?
Well, let me just tell you, we are in a huge transition here on the farm. We are starting our remodel tomorrow. And so we had movers here moving all the furniture out, moving all the everything out and
You have to move
about.
your whole house, all the
The
furniture, the whole
entire
house.
house. Yeah, we're doing an
Oh my goodness.
entire 5,000 square foot remodel.
Wow, that's a big
Mhm.
deal.
It's an
And you're doing it during
enormous deal.
Mercury retrograde. Good for you.
Well, yeah, good for us. Well, actually,
Julie
it's
Kelly.
direct now. But I think it got postponed all this time because Mercury was
Oh,
retrograde.
that's why. Okay.
Finally starting. But you know,
Wow.
James, when you move things in the house, as our
Yep.
guest will tell us, energy
Yes.
starts to shift and move and change. And it's just trying to get used to all of this. And it's a full
You just
year.
got to go with the flow. You
I
got
have
to
to
go
go
with
with,
the
yeah,
flow.
that's
I mean, that's what
the
I'm doing each day since our COVID experience.
okay.
You
Oh,
know,
and I
the
was showing you
cough is still
earlier.
there.
Okay, so I have like all my cough drops, and I know you've got yours, right? I mean, what a
It's
what
the
a
weirdest,
time, right?
weirdest thing.
Oh
Yeah, it's
my
a weird,
gosh!
weird time, and a lot of people have been called up on their stuff. I find for the
Oh,
past several months, right? A lot of people, and a lot of people are. You told earlier. You told us that a lot of people have been called out in their stuff. You're going to see a lot of celebrities.
a lot of celebrities, and
Oh,
we're not over yet. It's not over. I really
get
feel
the
some big ones
pictures
are coming down
called
the
out.
pike.
Yeah,
hmm
a lot.
Bigger ones even down the pike. Yeah,
Yeah.
because this is the
Oprah,
universe.
Oprah, Big Maui, Oprah. I mean,
That was
hello,
a
$10
big
million.
one.
Hello,
Oh
I mean, what's that?
God! Oh God! Poor
I'm
thing.
right by next to our house, by the way. I am. Yeah,
Oh
right up the street.
wow! Right up the street. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Yeah, this is a really intense time that we have for change and transformation for everybody. But
yeah.
let's
Oh,
start off with today, which is a very important day for everybody because today is Lord Ganesh birthday. And you might say, well, who is Lord Ganesh? He's an Indian deity, a Hindu deity who's famous for removing obstacles. And you probably have all seen Ganesh. Looks like this. It's the
yeah.
elephant with the all kinds of movement going on because he moves obstacles and today's his birthday. So if you are needing obstacles moved in your life, which I know James you are, and I literally am needing obstacles
Well,
moved,
yeah, yeah.
please move them and get them done and completed. But in anything that you need today with change in your life, anything that's holding you up in your life, so that would be a great thing to talk to Lord Ganesh, maybe get a little statue. I find that he's very powerful.
And Kelly, it's really the intention behind that, the thought behind that,
Absolutely.
the energy you put into it. And our
Yes.
guest is going to talk about vision boards and making
And we're
changes.
going to also talk
Or-
with her about intention. So great for you for saying that because intention is everything. I mean, and actually doing it is something else here. So a
Yeah.
lot of people are saying, oh, they love Lord Ganesh. They have a statue of him. Hi, everybody. Oh, I'm so glad that everybody is because it's a big deal, I think.
Big deal. I have one of my desks facing me right now. I'm at a hotel, but in my home, I have that. And
Oh,
you have
good.
that. And I know Julie, our
Yeah.
guest, has it. And Renee
And
has
Renee has it. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. But let's talk a little bit about this week because this week is a very has a lot to do with transformation and change.
Okay.
So starting this week, I think we're going to see a lot of change in everybody's personal life and in the world. And also a lot in the United States too. This is a big, big week. In the next couple of weeks, these are big times of change. And it starts with actually on the 18th. So that is the
Today.
18th.
That's today.
It's today, oh my God, it starts today. We've got the moon in Libra. And so today is about finding peace and balance and really trying to find peace and balance. And really in your daily life, try to find peace and balance. And again, Julie Ann's going to help us a lot with that. But tomorrow on the 19th, there's an aspect that Mars makes with Jupiter and the moon. And it can be, I don't know, disrupting or confusing for people. So this week has a tendency to be a little confusing. Also on September 20th, the moon, let me see, how do I say this? The moon is in Scorpio and it's debilitated, and Saturn squares the moon. So it's going to be hard. September 20th is our challenging day.
I'm writing this down. Yeah.
Write it all down. I mean, that's why I'm giving you like day by day because this week is one of those weeks, And on September 21, also the moon is debilitated also in Scorpio, and what that
What do you
is.
mean by debilitating?
Well,
Kelly?
it's not powerful. There's no power there behind it. And it makes it really wobbly and uncomfortable. And it makes this next few days uncomfortable here. And just not like you might be thinking, what is off? Like, am I off or what's off?
I've been thinking that for 5 months now. Come on.
I know you. I know you have. I know you have. My gosh. Then again, September 22nd. I mean, every single day, James, there is something. And on September 22nd, the moon goes Gandanta. And, I'm always talking about Gandanta. Again. And it goes from a water sign to a fire sign in this time. So again, every single day there's some critical something that goes on astrologically that makes it feel like you might feel just very uneasy. Maybe that's the better word for it, uneasy. And then when we get to September 23rd and 24th, those are what we call critical days. So those days, and that's, it's coming up. In fact, September 24th, Yom Kippur is Erev Yom Kippur comes in. And those days are, the Mars is squaring the moon. And when that happens, that can bring out a lot of intensity around world leaders, around governments, around our lives. I mean, these are critical times. So
what is Mars, Kelly? What is Mars in this week when it does that?
It will be in, it is in, I can't believe I just forgot. Virgo. And it's going to be it's been intense because Mars has been in Virgo and in Vedic astrology. And when it's been in Virgo, notice, James, we've seen a large rise in COVID. In fact, the two of us even. Right?
Yeah, well, we're there.
So these kind of things. So I feel that this is going to be one of those critical weeks, the next few days. I'd say make sure that you are, resting, that you're taking really good care of yourself, and that you do something, that you spend some time in nature like you're doing, James. Because I think the world is making a lot of change and transformation. And by the way, how do we grow? We grow through change, and we go through growth from transformation. So these are big ticket items this week.
And Kelly, what I'm learning a lot is, of course, which I teach, and we have to go through it. Not being attached to things. Have no attachments, because when you're attached to an outcome, attached to certain things, it's harder. Yeah. So you just got to go with the flow of it and have that intention out there and know what you want, but don't hold on to the past. Don't let things flow through you.
If that is probably some of the greatest advice you could ever have, actually, what you just said. Don't get too attached and allow everything to flow. Yeah,
it's what I've learned over the weekend. It's just true. It's just reinforcing that.
Yeah. People are saying, Kelly, that makes sense. It's uneasy. Yeah, uneasy is a good way to describe it. So anyway, we'll get through all of this. Oh, Kim Ann says, Kelly, have they started harvesting the corn and beans in Wisconsin yet? No, Kim Ann, they haven't. But I think they're going to be doing that soon. Harvesting, because we have
harvest season. October,
it's harvest season. It's coming up. So
I see Halloween decorations out already everywhere.
Oh yeah, of course we are. Well, James, we have the best and most interesting guest on tonight. Yay! Should I introduce her? I've got her.
Yes, but I will say she's a former student of mine, and she took my writer's course, and she has a book from that.
She does, and in fact, I have her book. Before we announce her. Let me just show you her book, Change Your Space to Change Your Life. And by the way, this book is so great because
fabulous.
It's well written and it's easy to follow. Some Feng Shui books are a little complicated. This is not complicated. I could understand it really easily.
And we're Virgo. Good. We're very picky, and it's done really, really well.
Yes, it's done super well. I just love this. Oh my gosh. Well, let me introduce Julie Ann to everybody. Julie Ann is an interior designer, and she's a Feng Shui consultant, and she's the president of the design firm Metro Interiors. Julie Ann received her Bachelor of Fine Arts in Interior Design from none other than Northern Illinois University, where I know another famous alum from there, who's my husband, Don, also went to Northern Illinois, and IU. Isn't that fun?
That's great.
I know. And she's on the advisory board for the Century College Interior Design Program. And she is a certified Feng Shui consultant through the Wind and Water School of Feng Shui and is a member of the International Feng Shui Guild. And so she's the author of Change Your Space to Change Your Life, which is going to be great. So please welcome Julie Ann Segal. Hi, Julie Ann.
Hi, Julie Ann.
Hi.
Welcome.
See you.
Yay. So great to see you.
Yeah.
I love your book. I
Great
love
book.
your
Thank
book.
you.
Great
My
book.
whole intention, like you said, everything is intention, is to make a book that kind of combines something, but make it simple for the general public to understand. And that's what I did. I got enough information, but I didn't go very, very deep, but I went deep enough to get, get this information.
Oh, I love it because it's simple, so anybody can figure it out. And especially when you're talking about the concepts, you make it very easy for people.
Good. I'm glad you feel that.
Yeah, I really did.
Intention.
Oh, your
Very
intention
proud.
was
Very proud of
great.
you, Julie Ann. Very
Yes.
Yeah, and James' class helped immensely. You still have your class up, don't you?
I do. Yeah, the writer
Right?
within. We're gonna
I
start.
definitely, take it because it helped me to keep going. If you're wanting to write a book, he has so many great ideas, and it totally helped me to keep going.
Right.
I did it. So there.
You did a great job of it too. And what I liked about it too, like as Kelly mentioned, it was done in a simple but complex way because you got to spoon feed people because it's a new subject for a lot of people. But you present it in such a way that's so digestible, easy to comprehend, and it makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Yeah,
I'm a practical type person. I'm artsy, but I'm practical.
So tell everybody when you first started getting involved with Feng Shui, like how long ago?
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to tell you that when I was a kid, I used to lay in my room and think about how can I make this room feel better. It wasn't look better, but feel better. I used to declutter. I used to organize. If the cleaning lady came in and moved one thing, I would know if it would moved 1 inch. I was a little too much, but I've relaxed over the years. But I was doing Feng Shui way before I knew what it was. Even with my bed, I kept moving my bed till it felt right. And when I look back, I put it in the command position, which is where you can see the door from when you're laying. And I did it naturally. And that's where I left it for most of my childhood when I figured that out. But it wasn't until like 1999, maybe, when my teacher, Carol Heider, came on the scene and brought Feng Shui. She studied in California and brought it back to the Midwest. And something just like, there was like a buzz, when something's right, you hear something, and it's like an intuition. And I had to go hear her speak through the ASID. It was ASID is American Society of Interior Designers. So she spoke, and I knew that I would know her. And everything she was saying just made sense to me. I started teaching it with a friend before I even got certified in little bookstores. But I quickly learned that I needed to learn more before I taught it. So I went to certification, and when I went, I was taking it for myself. This was to help me. I was going through a hard time at the time in my marriage and everything. And so I was taking it for me, but immediately upon graduating from Feng Shui school, I brought it right into my interior design business and wasn't shy about it. I just did it. It just made sense. And it gave me that little edge or something special too. So that's, and then it's been a journey. It's very much a journey. You learn a little bit, you learn more, you do layers in your home, you see things from different perspectives. It's pretty amazing.
And did many of your clients you had say, and you didn't maybe tell them you were doing Feng Shui, but afterwards they commented, wow, this feels great, or something?
Yes, that's that, because some of them don't ask for Feng Shui, or they like that I'm a Feng Shui consultant, and they like that I'm going to make their space feel good, but they don't want to go too deep into it. But I always make it feel good. And recently I just did I do apartment buildings, the common areas, like the lobbies. And this one was a senior apartment building for 55 and older. And I've had so many residents come up to me and say, thank you. It just feels so good. We love the colors. We love what it feels like, and they, some of them may know I do Feng Shui, some don't, but it works, at that level. There's different levels to work with people.
I have to read you this comment. It's so true. I know so many people like this. It's from Andrea Weinbarger. She says, oh my God, when I was staying at home, they must have thought I was crazy. I was constantly moving furniture. And
Right.
I've known many people that have done that, you know, James, where
I
they
do
can't
too.
get comfortable with the furniture but I think they're ultimately
I've
trying
done it.
right? But I
Right.
think they're ultimately trying to get that natural state that you're talking about.
Right. They're trying to feel out. Sometimes it's more about the color on the walls or the balance
Yes.
in the room. So, you know, sometimes you need to get a professional to look at those
Right.
things, because I know that I've seen people do that, and sometimes they're just not comfortable inside themselves with something, but they can't figure it out.
Right. And
Yeah.
I was curious when we were talking before we hopped on about intention and setting, you know, the intention. And in your book, you do talk about intention versus goals. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like if your intentions are not clear or if they're not sincere, then it's going to be
Right.
difficult to change a space.
Well, I think a goal is like a big overarching thing. Like, I want to become president of the United States. I mean, maybe that's your goal. I would not want that. But a intention is the steps along the way. Like, you know, I intend to do this, taking baby steps and going with that intention. I'm going to do this or be that or have this, you know, to get to that goal.
So, Julie Ann, you got to know your intent. You got to know the goal first. And then do you know your steps of the intention, or does that come along as you're going through it?
Kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, you can have intentions to, you know, just be more peaceful, you know, those kind of intentions. You know, what can you do to be more peaceful? You become more self-reflective of what's going on within yourself so that you can calm yourself and learn tools to help you. But I think goals and intentions kind of go hand in hand.
You know, I just got to comment. It's so funny because nowadays, for me, this little thing with the universe. If I hear something like 3 times, it's kind of validation. So this weekend I was doing a journey with mushrooms. I tried mushrooms. Well, it was interesting.
Oh my gosh.
But it was through a shaman, and the shaman said the first thing we have to do is, what is your intention? And the theme of intention was all weekend.
Isn't
and
that
now
interesting?
we talk about intentions.
Right. And what Kellee said, everything is intention. So even in your home, like everything I place pretty much is with intention, where I'm placing it, what I'm doing, how I'm thinking, where, you know, everything. And the more you work with Feng Shui, you find that you end up doing that more and more and more to get to that point. But also, it's so important. The first steps are decluttering, letting go.
I was just going to ask you about decluttering. Yeah. I was just going to talk to you about decluttering here.
So important.
Well, you have one tip that I think is really cool. When you talk about filling up a paper bag and then fill it up and then place it somewhere in the, you know, the garage or storage area or something.
Yeah, tell everybody about that.
Time. So if you're having trouble decluttering or can't get started, just like once a week, take a grocery bag and fill it up with stuff that you can let go of, or you think you can. And if you feel like you need to put it in the garage for a week and just, you know, wait. And then once you realize you don't need those things or you can live without them, then you get rid of them. You either give them to somebody else, send them to the Goodwill, or, you know, throw them away if they're not in good shape anymore, whatever it is. But then you start doing that once a week. And then some weeks the more you declutter, the more energy you're going to pick up. So you might some weeks do 2, and then all of a sudden you find yourself one afternoon doing a whole room.
So removing the clutter brings you more energy, ultimately.
Exactly.
So if your intent was, I need more energy, maybe one of the first things you would do is go around your space.
Yes. Go around your space and let go of the things that don't serve you, things that you don't need or you don't love. And every single object has a story to it. You know, even the stone. This is a friend of mine, a psychic friend of mine gave this to me for my throat chakra. So like everything you own, look around. Does it have something nice to say? Is it a nice thing or not? So you can get that out of your existence and live. You know, people walk in my home and I don't have a fancy home, but it's a nice town home that I've worked hard on. And they are always like, oh, they're like, they feel the energy.
Yeah.
Because I'm very, you know, I'm more decluttered. I mean, I'm not like minimalist totally, but I'm very decluttered on what I have.
Can I ask you a question, Julie Ann? When you go into like a consultation, walk us through that first step of a consultation when you're invited to someone's house. Tell us about those first steps and how that works.
So when I come into their home, I listen to them more when I'm there and listen to what they have to say. I mean, there was one gal, a family a while back where they had me in. They wanted to start somewhere or do some design work, but they had no idea where to start. So we walked through and started talking about the rooms, and we got to the room, which was her office, which was where she worked for a company full time in that office. And this office was so cluttered, and it was just full of stuff. And there was a big couch in there. I'm like, do you take a nap on this couch, for take a break? She's like, I don't use it at all. We just store it there. And so just to make her aware, she's like, oh, I said, so let's declutter this room. We started talking about, I said, let's keep one bookcase. You need all these bookcases. So we redesigned. We did a new desk, painted some lighter feeling blinds. And when she was done, she was so thrilled, and it looked so much better. It felt so much more peaceful. There's a picture on my website of this office. It's Mary Beth's office. If you look on my website under the portfolio, and you can see the before and the after. But I was so proud of her because she ended up doing the decluttering. She didn't need to hire anyone, which some people do that if it's too much. She did it, and I picked a color for the paint, and they just went and we just did it and got it done. And she felt so much better in that space. And it also looked out into the living room. So when you're sitting in the living room and see this awful mess of an office, when you're trying to relax and you see all your work like that, it doesn't feel very good. So yeah, and we went on, and from that point we went on and redid the living room. We redesigned the living room and made it feel much lighter as well. So things were kind of heavy in there, but every job is very different and every person is different. I just really listen to what is their thing and answer any of their questions. But then when I start to design, I get into this whole phase, and it gets a little mixed up until all of a sudden it starts coming together. And then I start to present ideas and stuff like that.
And how much, Julie Ann, is your intuition, and how much is your skill, or is it interactive?
Totally both. Both. Yeah. Sometimes I'll be told to bring a fabric with me, and that'll be the fabric we use. I don't even have to go look for it. I didn't even know the colors, nothing. And that's the fabric we end up with. So,
and how do you deal with people that you go to their house and they have no idea what you do, and they just there and say, we heard about you do design work. Let's say you go as a designer and you go in there and you think, oh my God, this needs some good feng shui here. Do you go ahead and tell them that? Do you feel them out and see what they're
on a very light level?
Okay.
Start somewhere. Well, are there some things here you don't need or love that you can let go of? And most people are willing, I found out over the years, if they have me there and they're paying for me, they want to make changes. So that's, pretty evident.
I have a question from Laura. She said, what's the best intention what can you do when you don't like your house, but you're not able to move yet?
Well, first, can you let go of some things or move things around? Sometimes even just moving some of the things, or maybe adding a bench where there wasn't a bench before, sometimes makes you feel more comfortable, or adding a mirror to expand an area. Mirrors are amazing sometimes in the right places. So just little things like that, and moving things around, maybe taking your lamps from your bedroom, putting them in the living room. Some people get very stuck on this is where it goes. And once in a while, you need those kind of changes.
Right. How do you feel I'm moving into an office while we're having this huge remodel? And how do you feel about nature and plants? Because somebody said, I'm changing all my fake plants. This is from Marilyn Weedman. To real plants, and it made a big difference in how my space has felt.
Well, plants are amazing, and if you are willing to take care of real plants, that's the best. But in feng shui, we just don't want to ever use dried plants because it's dead energy. We can use latex or silks and make those look beautiful, and they could be very real looking, but real plants will actually lower heart rate, blood pressure. It will relax you. It's also nurturing, because you're nurturing these plants. So it's a nurturing energy, and they clean the air as well. So in my book, I talk about biophilic design. And that's like something to look at, because it's like you want to bring nature into your home and mimic nature. And there's different ways to do that.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
And also, Julie Ann, you talk a little bit about, which I love to get into, like if someone's going to like change their office, get a new office, or they're about to move, or they're moving, what is the things that they should do before they change their space, workspace, or living space, or going to go buy something?
What you mean? Wait, ask me that question again. So
like if someone's changing, like Kellee is changing her office, she's going to a new space. What does she need to do for that, moving to a new space, or someone looking for a new house or an apartment or whatever, changing what they're looking for? Are there things to do for that?
Well, I think the first thing to do is to declutter what you're not going to bring with you. I did that in 2020. I had a great big office in one of the big paint companies. I rented from them and I loved it. It was great, but I felt like it was time to move on. And I wanted to move in my home. And I thought, oh, people aren't going to think I'm professional anymore. So then 2020 hit and I thought, and I immediately knew that's what I was going to do. And so I remodeled 2 parts of my home. I went to my office every day and decluttered. And it got me so clear on where I was going with my business doing that. It changed everything. And it helped me to get my book done as well, moving out of that office and moving into my home. So I planned very carefully and I let go of a lot of stuff and only brought with me the things that truly mattered in my business at this point.
Kellee, can you do that?
Oh my God. I'm like right now I want to bring crystals and plants into my new space, but I'm going to keep it very minimal because it's a short-term rental while we do this construction.
Then just bring those things that make.
And I want a lot of flowers. I have to have a lot of flowers and
that'll make.
And so I have to have some books near me.
How long will you be in your space?
Oh God,
about a year. About a year.
Well, yeah. So you'll be there for a while.
Yeah. So I've got to make it comfortable. And,
make it comfortable and.
And how important is light, Julie Ann? How important is having
great
light?
question. Yeah.
Light is everything to me. I mean, it's so important to have overhead lighting, and if you can have dimmer switches, that's great, and lamp lighting, and reading lighting. And now we have the little ring lamps for the computer and everything. But all the right lighting makes a huge difference to get the right mood too.
What about natural lighting versus artificial lighting? Would natural lighting be?
Oh, natural lighting's great too, but I like having both. Because I just feel like things are turned on. Like it lifts my energy. Lights will lift your energy. Too. I like some people they'll just have natural light and I feel like it's kind of dim sometimes in the house with just the natural light. Sometimes it's okay, but when I turn on the lights, I just feel more warmth.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you, Julie Ann. This is from Chris Brown, and she says, what are the differences between Feng Shui and Vatsu? Because we had somebody that was on our show, Michael.
I'll be seeing him next week. He's coming next week.
Oh, he was terrific. He was talking about Vatsu. As a matter of fact, my designer actually decided to do our house Vatsu. So I'm really excited about that. But can you tell everybody what the difference is?
I wish I could, because I know Vatsu is the Indian version of Feng Shui,
probably
but I don't know Vatsu, so I can't even tell you the differences at this point. But it's a good thing for me to look up.
It's an interesting, like for us, we had to put our kitchen in a certain spot in the house because of the fire element. So it kind of goes into different elements.
So when we have elements in Feng Shui too, I bet you find a lot of similarities. And remember, everything is intention.
Yeah. Yes.
So they have their ways and we have ours, and I bet some of it just correlates.
And Julie Ann, you have a diagram, and Renee has it of the different
Bagua.
Oh, okay. The Bagua. Yes.
Yeah. So this is that. The Bagua is a tool, a map that you lay over the blueprint of your home, and each area corresponds to like a specific area of your life, and it's divided into 9 areas.
Oh, that's
great. If you can move on the bottom is where we see where we'd have the front door.
Yeah.
And then you lay it over, but not every house is perfectly square like this. So this is where you can find which area of your home correlates to different life areas. And then once you find that out, you can make changes in these areas to make changes in those areas of your life. So, for example, I felt like I needed to make some changes in my relationship area recently. And so every area has a color. So that color is pink, and every area has an element with it, which is earth. So earth is depicted by earth tones, or the square shape is an earth shape, or elements such as stones and terracotta pots, ceramics, pottery. Those are all earth elements. And so I decided to change 2 areas. I have 2 different floors that I wanted to make these changes on, finding my relationship. The relationship, marriage, and partnership area is about a marriage or your significant other, or even a business partnership. So back in May, I had gone through a breakup. We are back together now, 2 months after that, but I really wanted to make those changes. And so I bought two pieces of art. And one is a couple. I don't know if he could pull up that piece of art so you can see why I chose that piece of art.
And you put this in that special spot.
Yeah, when I found the relationship area, I put it in that area. That actually the day, it's a G clay, so it's not an original piece, which keeps the cost down. It's a print.
What is a G clay, Julie? What is a G clay?
A G clay is like the most modern type of printing. You know how they used to have lithographs and serigraphs. Right. Well, today the printing process is a G clay, and it's a less expensive type of way to print. And I do many, many images. Sometimes, when I'm doing multi-housing projects, I do a lot of G clays because they can't afford to do 30 pieces of original art. But it's really about the image you're seeing and how it feels. And that image had earth tones in it. It had the feel of the relationship I want. And it was no coincidence. The day that it was delivered to me, I set it in the corner. I didn't put it up yet, but it was that day that my boyfriend and I got back together. So who knows? We'll see. But and then he helped me put that piece up and put the intention into that space. He was there to do that. And then in my kitchen is another area, and my refrigerator's there, which is not great to have a refrigerator in relationship because it's like a cold relationship. So I've done things to warm it up, like put stones on top of it. And I just want to bring that warmth. So I actually called up a Australian Feng Shui artist that I've worked with over the years. And she was awesome. I knew she would get what I needed to do. Right. And she did this other piece. I don't know if Renee can pull that one up, but I used earth tones, and I used some even warmer fire tones because
I love that.
Fire feeds.
So pretty.
Earth. And then you can see how the male has his arm around the female, just kind of like the other piece.
I love that piece.
I love that picture. Yeah. So great.
Love the colors.
We worked together, and it was just perfect. She was perfect. That piece, I have to take it to the frame shop this week, get it framed, and then it's going up. But that was an original piece as a versus a G clay. So
the tones are amazing, Julie Ann. The tones are just incredible.
Yes, and those are the tones we wanted to do to warm up the space, to bring earth energy in there. Before, you know what? I had a picture of in Laguna Beach, Heisler Park. You remember Heisler?
Yes, I know Heisler Park.
And a lot of time running that park. I love it. So I decided to put that piece in a wealth area because water brings in wealth. And I had another feng shui consultant look at the space, because sometimes as consultants, we need someone to look at our own space. Sometimes you can't see it. And she's like, well, those waves are washing away the relationship.
Wow.
So it's all in metaphor.
How interesting.
So I'm like, okay, we'll put that in a wealth area of my home. So I did that because I love that piece. And I now exchanging it for this. So that's how sometimes even, I have to make an adjustment if something's not going right. Sometimes you make an adjustment and something happens, but it's not exactly what you want. So then you have to rethink and redo.
So, Julie Ann, we have a lot of questions from people who their loved ones have passed. I've had a lot of widows and widowers where their loved ones have passed. And Ann Margaret says, "Hi, Ann Margaret. I hope you're feeling well." She says, "What do we do with items from our loved ones that have passed, and describe the energy of things that have been behind, like left behind clutter or whatever you want to call it."
I always tell people that if they love the item, like, and it fits with their home decor and they love it and have place for it, keep it. They can also refurbish it at some level. But if they don't, of course, if there was their grandmother or aunt or whoever it was, they love that person, that they don't, just because they let go of it doesn't mean that they don't have the memories of their loved ones. So I do believe it's okay to let go, because if it's something that doesn't pull you up, it's not worth having in your home if it doesn't, match what you're trying to do. Or
Julie Ann, a lot of people though have a hard time letting go of, let's say the partner, a husband passes over, and I want to hold on to his jacket or his pair of shoes because that reminds me of him.
Right.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think that if there's a few pieces, I wouldn't keep the whole thing. Maybe for a while. Yeah. It's okay for a while, because you're transitioning to a new life and having to go through that. But I'd say do let go of it. At some point you need to let go and maybe keep a few of your favorite pieces.
And it doesn't mean they won't be around everybody, because they're all around us. So you don't need the keep them there.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's funny, James. There's
exactly. I know
Lisa Kupka says, do you guys have any idea how to part with my parents' belongings that I have a full basement for? And then she says, do they care if you part with their items?
No, not when they're on the other side.
But I've had that a lot in my readings, and it always comes through where parents say, or I remember many where like a mother would say, "Why do you have my glasses in a box? What good are they doing in a box?
Right.
Give them to somebody that can use them. I prefer you use my stuff to help somebody." They say that all the time.
Well, there you go. So that I feel that. I feel like they see things from a different perspective.
Totally.
It's totally let go.
It's easy to get bogged down by it too. Because I know I even brought a lot of my mother's stuff here to our basement, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are we doing? We're redoing the whole bit. We're doing everything here. I got to let go of this stuff, Like, oh my gosh. And Elle says, I love this one. She said, I started filling a bag this weekend, talking about filling bags. And she says, and now we're talking about it. Wow. That's how this works, Ellie.
Keep going.
Okay. Joyce Fudge says, can you talk about mirror placement?
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, first of all, you don't want a mirror across from your bed. It's just too much energy. Too many mirrors in a bedroom will cause a lot of, it could cause headaches, but it could cause just not being able to sleep as well. So especially when it's right across from your bed or facing you any direction in your bed. Also, we use mirrors to expand an area. So you want to always look at what it's mirroring. For example, I have a giant mirror in my living room, but it mirrors a window with all nature. So when I'm sitting not facing the nature, I still see it in that mirror. Right. And it feels like I have greenery around me. So really look at what your, where it is. Yeah. Another place now mirrors are a water feature, when we talk about the elements. So in the Feng Shui Bagua, there's a area in the front middle, which is career. That is a great place to put a mirror. And a lot of times it's an entryway, and we love mirrors in entryways. So, but with the intention to have your, career flowing. Also, if you read my book in chapter 8, I talk about the Bagua. It's all about the Bagua and missing pieces. You could actually have a missing piece when you lay out the Bagua. And in order to adjust that missing piece, you can put a mirror on the wall. Okay, say that all of abundance and prosperity is missing. And then the area next to it is fame and reputation. So whatever the perpendicular wall is to that outside area, you would place a mirror there with the intention of pushing, because you look into the mirror, pushing the energy out into that space. It's about intention. If you don't want to put a mirror there, you could put a piece of art there with a little mirror like this. Is a 3-inch mirror.
Oh,
And
that's great.
so it doesn't have to be seen. It could be on the wall behind that piece of art with the intention that you're pushing the space out and filling in the whole wealth area.
I've done that before outside my house. That's exactly what you're talking about. Without you knowing, I've done
What
that.
you were doing, you energetically felt it.
Energetically. What about, Julie Ann, just curiosity, because they talk about mirrors. Many people say mirrors can be portals. What do you think about that?
You know, I believe it. I believe it, that the energy, that yes, because the feel of that feels very much like a portal. Yes, I never thought about that, but you're right.
People have asked me that. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that they could be. And can portals be anywhere? I mean,
Yeah. I guess it could be anywhere. Sure.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kelly? You think portals could be anywhere?
I think so. I think they can be anywhere. I actually think they can be anywhere. Yeah, I've thought about that too, and I get asked that question a lot, James.
Right.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, I had someone douse my house, and she found where like the best energy is in the house. It's in what I call my cozy room. It's a guest TV room, but it's also my cozy room. And everyone that walks in that room is like, oh, you know, they don't know why they're saying it, but I know that that's the best energy. And I'm wondering if that's the same thing as a portal, what she was showing me.
Interesting. Maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe. I have a question for you. Lisa MG says, and I've heard this from so many people. She said, I feel numb when I try to declutter. So can you help somebody that goes into yes, because I mean,
it's stuck.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. It stops you. You might go, you freeze or numb. It happens to me. So I get it.
Right. We just talked about the grocery bag trick. Mm-hmm. One grocery bag a week. Can you handle doing that? Is that too much? Maybe a half a grocery bag for you, but you need to get started at some level, and it doesn't have to be everything at once. You do that, but once you start and you do that consistently, maybe once a week, you will start to gain more momentum and energy to do it.
I like how you said that.
Julie Ann, I found that what I've done recently, and I'm doing it every day now because detaching and getting rid of things, I'm finding that it makes it much easier for me when I'm going to declutter or let things go, and I'm going to give it away. I'm thinking of the person that's going to have that object and the positivity that's going to come to them if they receive that object. That's the way I get through it. It's true. That's what the intention of sending when I get rid of objects.
I let go of things, and when I bring things new into my home, I always let go, because it's a lot like losing weight and having to keep it off. And you have to put some things into place. Like because I love clothes and jewelry, when I bring stuff in, I bring things out. And I'm
such a smart idea
on that.
Oh, such a smart idea.
Really important.
Here's a question from Andrea Weinberger. She says, I work so much, works a lot. She says, I never get to go outside. So I put forest wallpaper and fake trees around. Does that help with being more grounded? So let's say you can't get out.
Well, it will help wood. It's called wood energy. It will bring more nature into your space and feel more nature in your space. But wood energy will help you achieve things more, help you to get started on projects. It's an entrepreneurial energy. When you want to feel more grounded, you want to add earth energy, which are the earth tones, stones, rocks, any kind of artwork or images that have squares in it. That type of energy, but that will bring nature into your home, but it can get you, entrepreneurial and get you motivated.
And it's okay to have the wallpaper like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, the wallpaper, yes.
This is from Renee Hounsel. Hi, Renee. She said,
Hi,
please,
Renee.
Is there a suggestion to bring brighter energy in an area like a basement if we're considering refurnishing it? It's
Good
very
question.
dense, heavy energy and not much natural lighting.
Right.
I understand that, Renee. Thank you for the question.
Exactly. That you just add more lights, and if you can do recessed lights, will light up the whole space, and you can have it on a dimmer. But then also remember to add your softer lighting, like your lamp lighting or reading lights as well. But adding all three of those types of lighting will give a really nice feel. I'm in my office and I have no windows in here. It was a storage room that I turned into an office.
Wow.
But I have good lighting and I work in here every day. And I have one of those lights, what are they called? Kelly, you must know, that help you with mood.
Oh, I love those. Yes.
There's really sleek ones. It's a very
Yeah.
sleek one that I got. You know what I'm talking
I
about?
do.
Those sleek ones, and they make me feel like I'm outside and help my mood and everything. I can't
Great
even work
idea.
without that one being on.
Oh,
And what
such a
about uplighting? I mean, let's say uplighting from a floor.
Oh yeah.
That's fun too.
Up like that's accent lighting.
Yes,
I would call accent lighting's awesome because it just gives you that mood and that it's fun to do that.
I love doing that.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
oh my gosh. What about candles? What? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what about candles? And you said,
We're all connected. Everything.
That's an understatement.
The first principle of Feng Shui is everything is energy and everything is connected. So there's a good example. But candles are wonderful as long as you don't have cats walking by them, because once a cat burned his tail,
the dogs,
it was so scary. But they're fire energy. Fire brings enthusiasm and energy. So think about where you're putting that too. If candles are good to use like in the fame and reputation area of a home. So also candles just can be used to relax. Maybe you want to do a softer tone of a candle to relax, but I light them with intention. I light candles every day with intention.
What do you think about the battery candles?
I love them because some people can't have them. Like I have a friend in an assisted living home and they're not allowed to have candles. So having those can give you that nice warm feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're great.
I have a question about something which is kind of a weird question, but it just popped in my head. What about, like, in my kitchen, I have a fruit bowl. What about having fruit in a space?
That's great.
Is that great?
Very good energy. Yes, as long as it's not rotten or
Correct.
You want to make sure it's fresh.
Yes, fresh.
Really good energy. Yes.
Oh,
same with fresh flowers. And when they start to die, it's okay to let them go.
Right. So Diane Rinaldi says, if you're trying to sell a house, any suggestions?
That was James.
That was.
Yes. Or
great question.
Yeah. So the best place to make an adjustment in his home is find out where your helpful people and travel area is. It's the bottom right corner of the bagua. And this is helpful people, like you're calling in all the helpful people to help you sell your house. So sometimes you want to put a water feature in there because it's about movement. You also want to declutter that area. You want to, when you're trying to sell a house, you want to take out a lot out of your home. You want to have less furniture, like take a third, if you're just an average home, take a third out. And also don't have personal items on the wall, like family photos. You want to take out, the deity stuff I love, and the stones and all the crystals and all that have those should come out because you want anybody to feel like it's their home.
Correct.
That kind of thing. So just neutralize it the best you can. You can also write a letter to your home about thanking them and welcoming in the new people, and then putting it in a drawer in the helpful people area with that intention.
Wow, that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, so do that. And remember, anytime you make an adjustment in Feng Shui, we have the 3 secrets of reinforcement. So those 3 secrets are, the first one is placement of the object that you're using. So when you do that, you want to feel good. You want to not be tired, arms uncrossed. And then you want to think of your intention. What is your intention? And really feel it. Feel as if it already happened. It's done. Feel it. And then you say 9 times, because 9 is an auspicious number out in China, and Feng Shui comes from China. We say 9 times, Om Mani Padme Hum. And some of you may have heard that. It's a Sanskrit verse. meaning basically the opening of a lotus blossom to reveal its true essence, which is a soul. So I just want to make it clear that Feng Shui is not a religion. It
Right.
is a philosophy. And this is just a little, ritual we do to set it in motion so you can just let go and see what happens and not try to control the outcome. You know your outcome, but not try to control how you get there, basically.
Wow.
You're very wise, Julie Ann. Very wise.
Thank you.
So Lisa Kupka is asking about sage. What do you think about saging?
I do it. I love it. Some people hate it. I remember once when I saged my office, I had all these people down the hall screaming and yelling, but I got through it. And it's great to space clear. I go counterclockwise in my home and space clear, and I stop at each area and wait till the smoke goes straight up, because it'll go sideways. And then I know it's clear when it's going straight up. So you just walk and light it and have, make sure you have like an ashtray or something in your hand as the, and your lighter, because you have to keep lighting it. But I love, if there's also Palo Santo sticks that I recently space cleared my home with that. And it's a much nicer smelling.
It's a higher vibration as well.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So between those two, it's a good thing that we have them to do that.
And do you believe in negative energy when you're doing this work at all? Removing negative energy, or?
Well, that's how we think of it. I was once told by a very, very wise man that there's no such thing as negative energy.
Right.
The term we put onto it. Energy is energy. Is that
correct?
Very good. Very good.
Julie Ann.
Very good.
Right.
Julie Ann, tell us about vision boards, because so many people are interested in vision boards. And I know you teach classes on vision boards.
Vision board class. And, before someone even makes a vision board is where you take images you cut out from magazines, find on things on the internet, either words or images that you put on a board that you want to make things happen. And so before you even do the vision board and do that, I usually give my students a exercise called the Be, Do, Have Dreamscape. And I want them to write down, what do you want to be? Like, how do you want to show up in the world? And really think about it and take your time writing these things down. What are your strongest traits? And then write down, what do you want to do? Do you want to travel? Do you want to start a business? Offer a new program? What is it that you want to do? And then what do you want to have? Do you want a new car, a new house? What is it that you want to have? And then when you get clear on those things, then you'll be able to pull the images much quicker.
Wow.
So if that makes sense.
Yeah. So if somebody wants, for a vision board, if they want like to bring in love in their life, or they want a new job or a new career, whatever, they would focus on those kind of pictures that they would put on this board? Or
just like the image I found, like you could take that and cut it out. So there's a lot of ways to manifest. Feng Shui is one way you can use Feng Shui to manifest, but there's other ways. There's creative visualization, there's positive, affirmations, there's vision boards, and there's all different ways to work with these tools to help you. And I've had amazing experiences with all of them.
Wow. I love that you have a class about it as well. I think that's fantastic.
Right. I've had some fun people, and then they tell me the things that happen. It's amazing. If we had more time, I'd tell you the story, but we don't have enough time to go into.
I mean, I can't believe where this hour went this quickly. I'm stunned. So much information. So if people want to reach you, what's the best way to reach you and to learn about vision boards and your book?
Right.
Well, my website is metrointeriors.com. My email, julie@metrointeriors.com. And I want them to know, if you go to my website, scroll down to the bottom and sign up for my newsletter. I only do a newsletter every other month on the 9th, because 9th is the auspicious number of the month. Every other month in between, I might tell of a class or an event that's going on. But my next one goes out on October 9th, and I'm offering 9 free half-hour phone consultations for the first 9 people who contact me.
First 9 people.
People who contact me will
Oh,
get
how
a free consultation.
great.
So go and sign up, and you'll get my newsletter. And if you want to be one of those 9, get on it right away.
Wow,
Great.
that's great. And
Great.
James, what do you have coming up? Mediumship
Medium
1,
2,
2?
2 is coming out Sunday.
Wow.
It's a new kind of medium 2. I'm doing individual works with people, meetings with people. So it'll be mentoring individually as well as group, but and a lot of different exercises and maybe some in-person stuff as well. So, and it's going to be including some writing, like the writer within. I'm going to include some of the stuff in there. So it's a very different class. So that comes on Sunday. We put that up for sale, and it's going to be great. It's foundation for mediumship. It takes the one and then increase it in different ways too. Platform mediumship, individual mediumship. So yeah, mediumship 2 on Sunday.
Great. And you're going to be doing individual help with them, right?
Yeah,
Which is
mentoring.
so amazing.
Mentoring,
That's
which I haven't done before. So that's
oh
gonna
my
be great.
gosh.
Yeah.
So people are so lucky to have that experience.
Yeah, it'll be great. I've been
Yeah.
waiting. I've been changing it the past year. I've been changing it up and thinking what people and listening to what people wanted and they wanted to learn. So it's really been designed for that.
Great. And also, James, next week you and I are going to be finally we're going to do the free will show.
Yes, free will
versus
destiny points. Yes.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that next week. Okay. And if anybody needs a session, I've got 2 or 3 sessions open this week. So please go to my
Good for
website.
you, Kelly.
Yes, because I was going to go out of town. I decided not to at the last minute. So I have some time available.
And Julie Ann, the name of your book again is
Change your space to change your life.
It's a great book,
Very
everybody. Please check it out. I just can't believe this hour went
Amazon,
this fast.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can go to the book page of my website, and there's places to order it from there. And also, I want people to know that there is all the chapters on my book page. They can go to the chapters and see actual photographs of things. I don't have the photographs in the book. I have graphs and stuff, but not photographs of some of the things I talk about. So you can see that on that page, the book page.
Well, thank you, Julie Ann. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Julie Ann, so
you.
much. So great to see you.
You too.
Great. Very proud of you.
Okay, thank you.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.